Greetings, friends. Today I want to continue our exploration of the intersection between Judaism and politics. In the first part of this discussion, we examined how political ideologies can sometimes overshadow the eternal values of the Hebrew Bible. In this follow-up, I want to delve deeper into the unique challenges and opportunities that arise when balancing Jewish identity with political engagement. Let's explore what it means to navigate the political sphere as a Jew while remaining faithful to our spiritual heritage. Judaism has a long history of engaging with the world to promote justice and righteousness. The Hebrew Bible repeatedly calls on us to care for the vulnerable, uphold justice, and act with kindness. One powerful example is found in Exodus 22 verse 21. "You shall not wrong a stranger or oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt." So it is only natural for Jews to advocate for the underdog. Historically, this advocacy has often been rooted in principles of justice, compassion, and a commitment to improving the world. From civil rights movements to humanitarian efforts, Jews have frequently stood at the forefront of initiatives aimed at fostering a more just society. However, it is essential to distinguish between advocacy that aligns with Jewish values and advocacy that risks compromising them. The Hebrew Bible provides a moral framework that transcends fleeting political trends, reminding us to evaluate whether our activism truly reflects our religious commitments. This distinction becomes increasingly critical as modern political ideologies sometimes clash with biblical obligations. For instance, progressive political movements often emphasize values such as inclusion and equality, but these values can sometimes conflict with core Jewish practices and beliefs. Consider these examples. 1. The Hebrew Bible holds specific laws about sexual immoralities throughout its pages. For instance, Leviticus 18 verse 22 provides clear directives on this topic. In many Jewish communities, some interpretations have adapted or reinterpreted these verses in light of modern LGBTQ+ rights advocacy. In some cases, affirming certain lifestyles becomes prioritized over strict adherence to God's commandments. 2. The Hebrew Bible tells us circumcision is a covenant between God and Abraham's descendants. "This is my covenant with you and your descendants after you that you shall keep. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be the sign of the covenant between me and you. And throughout the generations, every male among you shall be circumcised at the age of 8 days. But in secular and politically progressive circles, circumcision has come under attack due to anti-circumcision campaigns, branding it as bodily mutilation or an outdated religious ritual. As a result, some Jewish parents have decided against circumcising their children, as evidenced by circumcision rates in the United States dropping from 83.2% in the 1960s to 77.1% by 2010. 3. The observance of holidays like Passover and Yom Kippur, which the Hebrew Bible prescribes as essential, are viewed entirely through a political lens. For instance, Passover Seders have been reframed as BLM or feminist events, often symbolized by the addition of an orange on the Seder plate. This practice originated as a gesture of solidarity with marginalized groups, as a statement against exclusion in Judaism. While well-intentioned, such reinterpretations risk minimizing the original significance of the Exodus story, shifting the focus from the redemption narrative to contemporary political themes. Similarly, Yom Kippur services have not been spared focusing on environmental or racial justice rather than repentance and atonement as mandated by the Bible. 4. The Hebrew Bible outlines distinct roles for men and women in areas such as religious leadership, inheritance, and marriage. For example, hence a man leaves his father and mother and clings to his wife so that they become one flesh. Modern feminist movements sometimes argue against traditional family structures prescribed by God. Efforts to modernize Jewish law have led some communities to de-emphasize biblical family values in favor of more politically popular redefinition of marriage, gender roles, and parenting. The implications for Jewish identity are profound. While some argue that circumcision and other traditional practices are outdated or incompatible with contemporary human rights ideals, traditional Jewish perspectives maintain that these are divine commandments central to the covenant with God. This dynamic highlights a broader challenge, balancing deeply rooted biblical obligations with modern political ideologies. As secular activism increasingly reshapes public attitudes toward religious practices, we can see growing correlation between progressive ideologies and secularism, which can erode religious observance within Jewish communities. Progressive movements often emphasize individual autonomy and subjective morality, sometimes at the expense of divine commandments. This prioritization can lead to a devaluation of sacred traditions and a weakening of communal ties to Jewish faith and practice. Studies highlight this shift, with a 2013 Pew Research Center survey revealing that 1/3 of Jews under 30 identify as having no religion, a significant rise compared to older generations. More recently, a 2021 Pew Research study found that 40% of Jews aged 18 to 29 described themselves as Jews of no religion, underscoring a generational drift toward secularism. Additionally, research by Ariela, Keysar, and Barry A. Kosmin shows that millennials are 4 times more likely to be secular than older cohorts. This increasing secularism among younger generations has contributed to reduced engagement with mitzvot, such as observing Shabbat, keeping kosher, or Torah studies. As secularism grows, the connection to the divine covenant that lies at the heart of Judaism diminishes, placing the continuity of Jewish identity and tradition at risk. The tension between modern political ideologies and Jewish tradition is also reflected in voting patterns. A 2024 report by the New York Post noted a significant increase in Jewish voters supporting Republican candidates in New York, a 50% rise compared to 2020. This shift suggests growing dissatisfaction among religious Jews with progressive policies that conflict with their values. This trend highlights a broader reality. While Jews have historically aligned with progressive causes, many are re-evaluating their political allegiances in light of the increasing divergence between progressive platforms and biblical principles. In navigating these challenges, the Hebrew Bible offers us a guiding principle: humility. Micah 6 verse 8 captures this beautifully. He has told you, O man, what is good and what the Lord requires of you, only to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. Humility reminds us that while political engagement is important, it should never overshadow our ultimate allegiance to God and our faith. Humility also means recognizing that no political ideology is perfect. Both progressive and conservative movements have their strengths and weaknesses. Our role is not to conform entirely to one side, but to engage thoughtfully, ensuring our actions and beliefs remain rooted in the eternal values of the Hebrew Bible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. And don't forget to check out my book, available now on Amazon. Links are in the description below. See you next time.